we got yet again another busy day here around Social Security, and I want to bring you the latest details on what just happened today, what today symbolizes for Social Security, as well as what the president just signed in regards to Social Security, a presidential proclamation, by the way. You probably saw that there in the title. A lot of things happening right now, and maybe I will allude to an announcement that came out earlier this morning where I'll say this much: they're lying right to our face. Sick and tired of it. Anyway, I've been talking about this for so long now. I literally just talked about this, I think, last night in a live stream. They're literally lying right to our face. I don't like this at all. Anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. We'll maybe talk about that later in this live stream, or maybe I'll come back later to this evening or something and talk about it in a separate live stream. But we got a very shocking announcement out this morning that we definitely need to talk about. Some things are definitely happening out there. All right, anyway, let me stay on track here. I really want to talk about that other topic as well, but maybe we'll get into that later. Okay, anyway, today, this is super interesting. Today, August 14th, today is the 90th birthday of Social Security. Can you believe it? 1935 is when the Social Security Act was signed into law, 90 years ago. So that's when it was signed into law. The first checks didn't start going out for a few years after that. And they've been going out every single month for millions and millions and millions of people. Well, for the last 90, well, actually not quite 90 years, about 85 years or so they've been going out. But again, it was signed into law 90 years ago. Absolutely amazing, right? So pretty interesting stuff. And this program will continue for a very long time. Quick side note, by the way, I received a comment yesterday. I'm just going to digress for just a moment here as I'm talking about this. But I received a comment yesterday from someone by the name of Victoria. Victoria, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. But anyway, she left a comment and said, is it true that Social Security is going away and being replaced by, I think she called it like federal, what'd she say? Federal payment system or federal payments or something like that? No, Social Security is not going away anytime soon. I don't know which AI channel is talking about that now or saying that. Definitely not me. That's not happening. Okay, so there's all kinds of AI channels out there talking about Social Security. Anyway, not sure which one is out there talking about this now, but no, that's not true. Okay, so I'm guessing that other people have been seeing this as well. Just want to clarify that for you really quickly. Okay, anyway, just a little while ago, not too long ago, the president was out as well, talking about the 90th birthday of Social Security. The acting commissioner, Frank Bisignano, was also out earlier today talking about the 90th birthday of Social Security as well. And the president also signed a presidential proclamation commemorating the 90th birthday of Social Security. He also made some other remarks around Social Security, some of which I want to clarify here in this little live stream right now. Okay, this is kind of interesting. The president continues to come out and say that there's no more taxes on Social Security. That's not true. That's not true, okay? Super interesting. And again, I'm not here to make this a political video. I always like to say that just to give that disclaimer. But I'm here to give you facts and transparency about what is actually happening. But the president loves to continue to say there's no more taxes on Social Security. That's not true. There's very much still taxation of Social Security benefits. Within the OBBB, that huge reconciliation bill, which was signed into law by the president on the 4th of July, it did not remove taxation of Social Security, but rather it gave a temporary $6,000 additional deduction for seniors age 65 and over that can claim that on their tax return, on their federal tax return. It's a $6,000 deduction. I've talked about that a lot of times, many times, as they originally introduced it, as it was passed. I talked about that, I don't know, probably 4 times in different videos, in different live streams. We went into all kinds of detail about that. I still have videos here on the channel talking about that from, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months ago or so. Feel free to check those out. But that is not the elimination of taxes on Social Security. That is literally just a deduction to reduce someone's taxable income on their tax return. And it's only temporary for 4 years, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. That's it, 4 years. Okay, then it goes away. Okay, so that's what that is. By the way, the White House was out with a memo maybe like 4 weeks ago or so, give or take a little bit. They were out that memo as well. And according to their numbers, their math, and their statistics or their calculations, they determined that about 88% of Social Security beneficiaries would no longer be paying Social Security taxes because of that $6,000 deduction. Okay, well, that's just their math. Is that actually accurate or not? I don't know. I'm just saying that's just what they said. Okay. And I know that doesn't pertain to a lot of people here in this community. Again, I'm just giving you the facts as far as what's happening here. Okay. Also, the president, when he was out earlier, signing that presidential proclamation on Social Security commemorating the 90th birthday of Social Security, also indicated that in about 7 or so years, give or take a little bit, that Social Security would potentially be going away because of the insolvency thing. Again, let me clarify that for you really quickly here. Social Security is not going away. I want to make that very clear. It's not going away. Insolvency within Social Security does not mean the program goes away. That's not how that works, right? It's not like, whoa, we've got insolvency, the program's going to end now. No, it's not how that works. It simply means that the trust fund, otherwise known as the savings account, okay, I know there's a lot of confusion around this trust fund. Anytime that you hear me or anybody say the word trust fund, just replace it with the word savings account. Literally the same thing. We have savings accounts as individuals and as married couples and single people and families, whatever. We have savings accounts. The Social Security Administration has trust funds. They have the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund. That's where Social Security retirement, survivors, and spousal benefits are paid out of. And then they also have the Disability Trust Fund, and that's where SSDI benefits are paid out of, not SSI. SSI benefits are administered by Social Security, but paid by federal general funds, okay? So the money for SSI doesn't even come from Social Security. It comes from the federal government just as general funds. But those are the true trust funds, Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund and the Disability Trust Fund. There's 2 of them, okay? Anyway, anytime that you hear anybody talk about this whole trust fund and insolvency, it literally just means the trust fund, otherwise known as savings account for Social Security, has run out of money, and they can only pay out to beneficiaries the money coming in through tax revenues and interest on the money in the trust fund, which there would be no more at that point, right? So if the trust fund is empty, there will be no income on the trust fund, which, by the way, that's about $69 billion a year that'll just evaporate, because when there's no money there, you don't get interest on money that's not there, right? So that is one source of income that'll evaporate for them. And then they would just be reliant on taxation of Social Security benefits, as well as payroll taxes, which is by far their biggest source of income. And in the event of insolvency, they would only be able to pay that money out to the beneficiaries. And that's why we would see a massive cut to benefits, around 19 to 23%, give or take a little bit, and depending on how they would address it. But those are the figures as of now. But I'm going to tell you this much. Those numbers will continue to increase as we get closer and closer to a potential insolvency timeframe in about 7-ish years, give or take a little bit. It's not that far away from right now, right? But anyway, the president indicated with their plan, Social Security will be around for a very long time. However, if it wasn't for their plan, Social Security would go away. No, Social Security is not going away no matter what. And yeah, it's just maybe going to become insolvent. But again, I've also said this many times over the years, and especially over the last few months here, I've said this as well, which is I highly doubt that Social Security will ever become insolvent, because here's what's going to happen. By the time that they get close to insolvency, there's going to be like a lot, like almost 80 million seniors or something, like some huge number, like 80-ish million seniors and people drawing on Social Security. Do you think they're just going to come out one day and be like, sorry, ran out of money? You're going to see a huge cut of about 27 to 30% to your benefit starting next month. It's not going to be, they're not going to do that. That'd be so unpopular. All they're going to do is just direct the Federal Reserve to print up a few $1 trillion, push it to Social Security, and they're going to be fined for the next like 30, 40, 50 years, something like that. That's how I anticipate this whole thing ending, is literally the Federal Reserve just handing them a few $1 trillion of just freshly printed money and be like, here you go. See you in 50 years, and we'll talk this out again then, right? So we'll see how that whole thing goes. But anyway, just want to clarify some of these remarks out of the president and what's being tossed around right now. But we always see different information coming out when we see major timelines and different dates like this today, obviously being the 90th birthday of Social Security. So, a lot of people out there talking about it and things like that. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's about what I wanted to talk about really quickly here on Social Security. And again, you're going to see all kinds of remarks out there and all kinds of different things. That's all that's really going on with it today. Okay. So nothing changes for the most part. Yeah, just want to throw that out there super fast. Okay, let's talk about this other report announcement that came out this morning super fast. I'd like to really focus on this in a dedicated video, but I'll give you a quick little teaser, just a real quick little one here. Okay, so on Tuesday of this week, we got the inflation data that came out. Okay, I talked about this, I don't know, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday in a live stream, yesterday in the morning video. Okay, so twice yesterday I talked about this in separate videos. That was the CPI, Consumer Price Index. That's basically inflation on the consumer level. However, this morning, we got the PPI. This stands for Producer Price Index. This shows inflation on the wholesale, or basically the like on the producer level, right? So the prices that essentially like retailers and wholesalers pay, right? Okay, does that kind of make sense? Right? So it shows the price increases before we see that. When we see price increases on the PPI, again, the Producer Price Index, that eventually flows to us because they pay it up front and then they pass it on to us, right? Does that kind of make sense? So they pay it, so that's where we see it first, and then it flows on to us. We just got that out this morning. We see a huge spike in inflation, like huge. The biggest spike in inflation that we've seen in 3 years. This is the biggest, nastiest, ugliest number that we've seen in over 3 years. It's bad. On an annualized pace, we're showing a 10.8% rate of inflation right now based on this number that came out this morning. It came in 0.9% higher on a month-over-month basis. That's nuts. So as I was going yesterday in the morning video and in the evening live stream, I was like freaking out a little bit. And I was saying, they're lying to us. They're lying right to our face. Inflation is way higher than what it really is. They're telling us that it's low because they fired the BLS commissioner, the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner. They fired that person after the jobs report on August 1st. And I'm saying these numbers are highly manipulated. They're highly, highly manipulated. They're tinkering with these numbers. They're not telling us the truth. Well, that's what we're seeing in the CPI, right? So based on what we just got this morning from the PPI, it's very clearly showing us they're literally manipulating these numbers, okay? They're literally manipulating these, making it look like there's no inflation on the consumer level, which is absolute false. There actually is, and we're seeing it, and there's a huge spike in inflation coming still, okay? Anyway, let's leave a little teaser at that. I'm going to get into this later in a separate video. Maybe I'll come back and on the live stream tonight and talk about this, or maybe I'll just make you a dedicated video. But if you think inflation's like, oh, you know, nothing's really going on now, get ready. Brace yourself now. We're going to see a spike, a massive spike in inflation. It's coming. We saw the hand, right? It's like we're playing a card game right now, and the hand was just revealed to us. The guy across the table just flashed his cards. He's showing us, get ready. Next couple months here, we're going to see a huge spike in inflation. That's literally what they're showing us right now from this report that came out this morning. Not good. Not good at all. But here's what I don't like about this. I don't like how they're not telling us the truth, and they're doing this right to our face. Here's the deal. When it comes down to our raise to our benefits, obviously right now, July, August, and September, what's today? 14th. Like tomorrow is like literally halfway through August. We will be halfway through the third quarter of the year, okay? Halfway through the third quarter, which means halfway through the numbers that make the biggest difference to the raise to our benefit. So as I said yesterday in the live stream yesterday evening, my new projection on the Social Security COLA is between 2.6 and 3%. That's my new projection as of right now. If they actually told us the truth, I think we could be solidly within the 3.5% range. That's not happening anymore. Unfortunately, that's definitely not going to happen because they're manipulating and they're tinkering with these numbers to make it look like there's no consumer inflation, which is totally false. It's not true. Anyway, I'm getting off on a rant here, and let's just leave it at that. I'll come back in a later video, and we'll hammer down on this a little bit more, and I'll really go wild on this. But seriously, it's a nuts situation. I'm here to give you transparency and let you know what's going on. Anyway, just want to come back for you really quickly, tell you the details around Social Security, the history that is being made right here, right now, 90 years. This is amazing. Social Security, by the way, is by far the biggest program that is out there, lifting millions and millions of people. In fact, a report that just came out again today is showing that 37 million seniors would be living below the federal poverty line if it weren't for Social Security. A lot of those people were lifted out of the federal poverty line. 22 million, roughly, give or take a little bit, were lifted above the federal poverty line because of Social Security. So now there's about 11 million seniors still living below the federal poverty line as of right now on Social Security. But a lot of people, like tens of millions of seniors, were lifted above the federal poverty line because of Social Security, which is honestly really good. But why are we still leaving 11 million, roughly, give or take a little bit there? Why are we still leaving 11 million seniors below the federal poverty line? Does that make any sense? Or has anyone questioned that, right? Why? What about them, right? Like, why are we forgetting about them? Does it make sense, right? And that's not accounting for the people with disabilities and other beneficiaries receiving Social Security as well. Anyway, there's so many numbers out there, so many statistics, all kinds of things like that. There's so much to talk about with all this. Anyway, let's leave it at that for now. I don't want this to get too long. Anyway, if you've not done so yet, again, call the people, get some help with your Medicare. That's about what we can do right now to save ourselves some money, get better coverages, get a better fit, whatever it happens to be. Phone number's right there. Still early in the day right now, regardless of where you're located in the country. Give them a call today. After you talk to them, leave a comment down below. Let me know how the conversation goes. Let me know how much they helped you, what they saved you, as far as money, better coverages, whatever it happens to be. Use the word chapter within your comment, and I'd love to feature you in an upcoming video. And also, if you know anyone, share that phone number as well. Turning 65, retiring, or who is currently on Medicare, share that phone number with them. Also, leave a comment down below. Use the word chapter within your comment. Tell me who you shared it with, and I'd love to feature you as well in a future video. All right, anyway, stay tuned. I'll catch you again later. Hope this helps you, and let me know how it goes. Give them a call right there. Totally free, 100% free. They're helping tons of you here in the community save a ton of money on Medicare. It's amazing to see this. I'm getting tons of comments every single day. Anyway, enjoy.